Romero, he's an awesome dude, he's on your PC. He likes to make reviews for the movies you see. And if you want to sub his channel, take it from me. He makes us all right to a big surprise and it probably hates you. Romero Movie News, 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 Romero Movie News. Jackie Chan touched my wiener.
Hey guys and gals, it's me, Romero for RMN, and today I just went to go see an exclusive IMAX screening of the new Batman v Superman trailer. Yes, it's sort of the same exact trailer that we already saw online, but with a little something extra at the end that just gives it that added bonus of making it an awesome movie. Now, I didn't go by myself, of course I got a few friends with me, that's why I'm making this little group chat, and I'm gonna let my first friend introduce himself, and some of you might actually know him. Introduce yourself, young man.
Hello, this is Derek Easley of GameFob Network, and we live film writer, director, producer, actor, and I've teamed up with Romero on reviews before in the past, and I was really glad to hang out with him again and go see a little Batman versus Superman action.
Yeah, it was definitely an awesome experience all around, and I gotta say the event, though short, was very much sweet. And of course, I know that was terrible, it's cheesy. Okay, but with me, I do have someone else, someone new, someone you guys will, hopefully, when I introduce him, you will love, because he's got a guy who I've just met today, but he's got so much charisma and attitude to his personality, and that is Jason. Introduce yourself, man.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Ryan Lovett. I'm an actor. I'm on Space Hospital online. You can check us out. And it was my pleasure to be first time on the show here today, and it was so exciting to go and see the Batman v Superman trailer. It was amazing. We got a bunch of special things today that were just for us. Not only did we get ourselves an extra little clip at the end that was specifically supplied to us by Zack Snyder, but we also got passes to go and see the movie a year from now, 1 week before everybody else, before it comes out. And we got exclusive Batman and v Superman posters. We got the Superman poster with the bat symbol tearaway on it, which was pretty amazing, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is, and well, still, the Batman one was still pretty cool. I think it was cooler. Come on, it's Batman. You got the red symbol. It works.
Look, I mean, I'm always for whatever I can get that's got the big blue on it. Kal-El's my man, so so I'm always for that one.
Well, in this little podcast we're going to do on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about, not the full trailer, because of course you guys have seen it, and I'm pretty sure you guys are getting your thoughts about it online. What we're actually going to mostly talk about here of what they could have shown today instead of that, and also we're going to talk in not too much detail, but we are going to talk a little bit about the last 10 to 7 seconds of the trailer that will not be shown ever in cinemas or online. So first off, we're going to talk about that right now. So the last 7 seconds, guys, come on, tell me that last 7 seconds was not the most epic thing you have ever seen in the history of ever.
That was so cool. And I love all the cool stuff we've been seeing online. I want to touch on that too for a second lately. It's been a crazy packed couple days here with trailers, with what we've seen with Batman vs. Superman, with Star Wars, with Fantastic Four, with Jurassic World, and we get a lot of cool images. Probably the thing that stands out the most for all movie fans is the Chewie we're home, or whatever. What's the line?
Chewie we're home.
Everyone loves that, blah blah blah. But some people felt like they didn't get enough with the original Batman vs. Superman trailer. I'll let Jason probably expand on that in a second, because that was a strong feeling he had. But the last 6-8 seconds, whatever, where you actually get to see a little snippet of the Big Blue versus the Dark Knight going head to head in this direct charge from a side angle, man, I think it just made everyone's kind of skin crawl and just get excited. Yes, this is what we want to see. We want to see the clash of the Titans here. So it was pretty sick. Yeah,
and the funny thing is, Jason, me and him were jittery like schoolgirls. He was shaking after that. He was shaking my arm and stuff, and I was like,
I was. Yeah, I was like a little child at Christmas, and going into it, I mean, Derek's hit it on the nose. I was definitely of the camp of people that felt like the trailer, after getting to see Star Wars and getting to see not only the teaser but then the full trailer and the leak of the Batman v Superman trailer on the same day. I felt kind of underwhelmed underwhelmed by it. And my big reasoning for it is that the trailer ends, at least the original trailer ends, with the the standoff between Batman and Superman, and it's the imagery that we saw at Comic-Con 2 years ago when they did the big reveal for the sequel. And I'm like, that's it? That's what we're going to see? That's what you're going to leave us with? We already knew that was going to happen. Like, that was how you pitched us the trailer and the sequel in the first place. But then this particular moment, you get to see the rage between the two of them, and you get to watch the two of them square off and get even the slightest little moment of the two of them going head to head, and it was just enough to get the blood really, really boiling, I feel like.
And I agree completely. Our blood was really boiling. I think everybody in the audience was not expecting that. I think I even told you, Jason, remember before the movie started, that if they show something of that nature where the two of them are charging, it would make the trailer.
Oh, absolutely,
without a doubt.
And it was night and day difference. The trailer was amazing on the big screen in comparison to seeing it on the little screen. All the images from the beauty of the night sky with the statue, and seeing Superman with the Russian missile and all of that, seeing Batman emerge from the wreckage. I mean, that Batsuit is hands down the best one that we've ever had on camera. Sick. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. So, but that just tiny little thing at the very end was the capper that this trailer really needed.
That's true.
I thought it was kind of cool that we got to get a little video intro from Zack Snyder. He spoke before the trailer showed, and then he spoke after the trailer showed, and he was standing in front of their version of the Batmobile, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of a version of the Dark Knight trilogy Tumbler, but like a little more souped up, a little more sleeker,
and a little more like guns blazing.
Yeah,
it's got kind of like a throwback to the comic book, to the cartoon Batman. Excuse me, more of that vibe mixed with the Tumbler. So it's nice to see kind of the variations put together.
And one thing I didn't notice the first time viewing the trailer, but I'm pretty sure that the flying ship there is the Batmobile, because we see that there's wheels up under the bottom underneath the carriage. So this version of the Batmobile, at least my guess and the internet's guess, will be able to turn into the Batplane or Batwing and fly. And it was really kind of cool to see that little moment of action of things blowing up and the Batplane / Batmobile shooting other parked cars. But I really agree with what Jason is saying. To see the trailer, beyond that amazing ending, last couple second ending where Batman and Superman are going head to head, it's just 10,000 times better in IMAX. And I love my Galaxy Note. I love watching things on tablets. I love watching an episode of Arrow at the gym for an hour on the treadmill. But man, things look so much damn better on the big screen in IMAX, and this depth of field with the Metropolis night sky and the Superman statue. The CG that, and I don't want to say, it's hard for me to be unbiased and say anything against Superman, Batman stuff, because I'm in this camp. I love Warner Brothers, I love DC, but some of the CG in the original trailer, I was like, wow, I don't know if this is the best CG. I don't know if it compares to the Star Wars CG that we're seeing. But when you see it in the trailer in this IMAX, it looks so rich and the colors are beautiful. People are complaining about Zack Snyder only having 1 or 2 colors in his color palette. It looks amazing in IMAX, and
what it was shot for. And Zach talked about this in the little clip about how huge chunks of the movie were shot on the IMAX camera, and you can tell the difference. I mean, when you see it in IMAX, you can see that it was shot with love and with care on those IMAX cameras, and it's significantly different.
Oh yeah.
And I think the thing that we can all take away from those final 10 seconds is the fact that this is going to be the movie DC fans, fangirls, fanboys alike have been waiting for. This is 30 some odd years, maybe even more, in the making. A full-length feature film featuring the two most iconic superheroes of all time, DC, Marvel, what have you. These guys are the top tier when it comes to the comic book movie world and comic books in general. To see these two guys finally on the screen heading towards each other is definitely a cinematic moment on its own, and the fact that the three of us were there to witness it is beyond compared to anything
Super cool. In Hollywood.
Exactly,
in Hollywood, in the famous Man's Chinese Theater. You know what I mean? Where so many of the great movies have premiered over the years, to get to see that iconic moment happen and be born is, I mean, this is what I've been waiting for ever since I was a little kid, running around on Christmas Day with, you know, a tablecloth around my neck, pretending to be Superman. This is what I've been waiting for. So I am beyond excited to see this movie and to see these two guys go blow to blow with each other.
Yeah, it was really kind of cool today. You know, today's 420, so it's kind of funny. We had the burners and the stoners on the sidewalk here in Hollywood.
Yeah, right,
but like
right.
beyond that, we come out of the theater and people see us with this poster and they want to know what we got and they want to talk about it, and like bloggers were taking our photos for their articles because we were all wearing either Superman or Batman gears. Yeah, and you know, people are looking at our posters, and there's DC cosplayers up and down the street here on Hollywood Boulevard. So it was really kind of a great location. But to touch on what Jason was just saying, like, you know, we had Superman ruling the roost cinematically in the 70s and the early 80s with the Christopher Reeve films, and then we got to see, you know, Batman really kind of take over the mantle in the late 80s throughout the 90s and stuff. And then we've kind of gone back and forth with, like, you know, you had a Superman Returns and Man of Steel, and you had the really successful Dark Knight trilogy recently. But now it's kind of interesting where we've had times in cinematic history where Superman's been on top, Batman's been on top, and now we kind of have an interesting version of both these characters who are going to clash. It's the first time ever we're going to see them fight and appear together on the big screen. So it's just the biggest thing we could hope for.
Now, of course, that was one of the great moments to experience, and I think we could undoubtedly say that for this year, that might be the best cinematic moment that we could possibly have all shared, and we're all going to meet again next year to come watch the movie together at that very same theater.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
at this theater, we will be there. Same bad times, same
bad
bad channel.
All right, so now we're going to actually get a little bit quickly. We're going to talk about what we really could have wanted to see, because you guys weren't there, but I was there for about a good, maybe you could say 3 to 2.5 hours waiting, and I told myself, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth waiting in line in the hot Cali sun and everything, especially on the Hollywood Strip? And I think, yes, with the ending of with that fantastic clash, I did probably want a little bit more to that.
And people there since noon. The people
Oh,
that
yeah,
very front.
absolutely. The first guy in line.
Those are actually my friends too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were there since noon.
Perfect.
It's only the finest are there since that time.
So what basically we're going to touch on here is what we could have wanted to see in the trailer, you know, because the trailer leaked and there were rumors spreading around, like the internet always does, that there was going to be another trailer shown at the event with different footage and
Possibly
stuff.
a celebrity show up, or Zack Snyder do an intro, a live intro here, you know.
Exactly. And well, though we didn't get any of that, I think it would have been nice to get perhaps our first look at maybe Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Gal Gadot as Wonder
I would
Woman.
love to have seen a little bit of Lex Luthor. I mean, it's like we got a little bit of Jesse's voice doing some Luthor in there. I really would have loved to have just seen what their idea of LexCorp looks like. Is it what a lot of people are believing that it's going to be? Is it going to be very like Facebook-esque, or is it going to be the LexCorp of the comic books, where it's this, you know, Stark Industries multinational conglomerate, and he just happens to be the, you know, the really young genius billionaire behind it all? You know, are we going to go with a new 52 kind of chubby Lex that then becomes more physically fit as Superman comes on the scene? You know what I mean? What are we going with? It's like I really would have loved to have gotten a first look at what this cinematic universe's Luthor was going to be like.
Right.
And I think another interesting, Derek actually mentioned it on the way here on the way out of the cinema. And I agree with him. Would have been nice to perhaps have Zack Snyder show some of the filming locations prior to showing the trailer. Maybe them in Detroit and in Chicago. Heck, even here they filmed a few scenes here in LA as well, in California. So yeah, touch a little bit on that, Derek.
Yeah, I feel you know, this, as far as film and media and marketing, this is a very interesting time. Just, you know, I work in the Comic-Con world, and this was a very packed weekend with Star Wars Celebration and a Comic-Con up in Northern California, Big Wow, and then a Canadian Comic-Con in, I think, Calgary. So there's a lot of fan events going on, and your attention's drawn in multiple areas. And I think they did a DC cosplay event here in LA and Hollywood just the other day to try to break the world record. And I just don't know about the timing. I don't know if I would have done this on 420. I don't know if I would have done this right so close to Star Wars Celebration. It was a weird thing where today's Monday. On Friday, it was Friday, right? They released this 20-second little teaser trailer where they just showed a snippet of Batman's costume and Superman's costume to introduce this trailer that we were going to go see on Monday, and then it gets leaked because it gets seen in Brazil, right? It gets shown in Brazil with Spanish subtitles, and so that version gets 550,000 views in like a couple minutes. Yeah. And so the Warner Brothers turns around and has to reveal.
They have no choice but to
show the trailer.
To show the trailer, yeah. So it was kind of a weird thing where like there's missteps and misfires and I don't know. A lot of people didn't want to come today. I talked to a lot of friends like, "Hey, are you showing up?" I'm like, no, I already saw it online. Why would I go out? So for it to be worth our while, I'm glad we had the experience. I'm glad we got to hang out and eat and see friends. I'm glad we got the posters and the movie tickets. But I would have added just a little bit more of some behind the scenes, maybe showing the sets. I can understand if you don't want to show some big action scenes or whatever, but something a little more inside baseball of you could maybe even had Henry and Ben in the introduction.
That would have been really great. I mean, I kind of I feel similar to you. I think for me the biggest thing is that it's hard to not have it feel like I want, even though that it's not a full trailer in the same way that Star Wars was that just released. But I feel like it's hard not to compare the two of them when Star Wars drops and the nostalgia behind that and the nostalgia excitement behind this 30 years in the making brawl between Batman and Superman is very similar. And I feel like it's hard not to compare the two of them and feel a little bit let down going into this scenario and feeling like, well, we didn't really get as much as we got with Star Wars, and we didn't have to wait outside for it and all that stuff. Well,
let me ask you two a question. If you guys were heads of Warner Brothers, would you have not done this in the week that you had Star Wars Celebration and the week that Age of Ultron's coming out?
I would absolutely not have done it in this same week.
Crowded, right?
There's just so much going on, and it feels like it's one of two things. It's either it's desperate for us to pay attention to this property at this time, which there's no need for that whatsoever, or it's just going to get lost in the noise and the shuffle, which I feel like ultimately that's what ended up happening, is that because of the leak and everything, while I'm excited that we got to go and see it and we did get to see some extra stuff and it was a lot of fun, I do feel like in the big scheme of Ultron coming out and Star Wars Celebration and the release of the new Star Wars trailer and then the release of the Rogue One footage, I think that it's really getting lost in the mix of all of that stuff. There's just too much going on this week.
And it kind of feels like all these trailers being released and everything, like trying to get attention. It feels like a classroom of kids trying to raise their hands at the same time,
Pick me, Fantastic Four. Pick me, Terminator. Pick me, Jurassic World.
Absolutely. It's just one trailer after another.
And that's how it feels like.
For that competition. And I really feel like even though Batman v Superman is the biggest kid in the room, he's also playing the cards the closest to his chest because he doesn't want to show off what is really awesome underneath the exterior of all of that. Fantastic Four really needed to show off some new stuff because people were so dogging on it, and I feel like Jurassic World really wants to get some buzz going. They want to be part of this big kid conversation, so they showed off some even more crazy footage, showing that genetically modified T-Rex for the first time in this new trailer, and all the stuff with the raptors and the motorcycles. And so I think that it's one of those things where it's like, wait until there's 5 seconds of breathing room and then slam us in the face with some Batman, getting punched in the face by Superman or vice versa.
And I think that's the thing that we can take away from this, because one, there's no doubt it has been a great few days to be a nerd or a geek or someone who loves this. There's no doubt about that. And this, for us or the people who are listening to this who were also able to attend, it was the icing on the cake. Like, there is nothing that I think that could come out in the next few days that can beat the fact that we were able to be some of the few to watch a sequence, a cinematic moment that will basically live basically in our minds and in our hearts until the movie comes out.
Absolutely.
Where Batman is in the armor at the end of the regular trailer.
Yeah.
And what we saw was Superman look up and look pissed, and they're both on the ground. It's kind of like in a warehouse type situation, you imagine, and they both charge at each other,
ready
full
for
speed,
that fight.
just ready to brawl. Batman moving a little slower than Superman.
Obviously.
I mean, I would be too in all that body armor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
And if I've eaten all that icing after this week too.
It was just an epic moment, and you just had to be there to experience it. You know, words, without a doubt, cannot possibly describe the sequence that we were able to see, though it was momentary. Like I said, it was short, but it was beyond sweet, and it is a moment in cinematic history that we will be able to live and be able to replay in our minds for a very, very long time.
That's the thing I think is as difficult is that, you know, even though Star Wars Force Awakens has been able to hold out, like, we haven't seen Leia yet, we haven't seen Luke yet, we just saw, like, his hand touching R2. But, like, you know, there's so many cool things in that Force Awakens. I don't want to turn this into a Force Awakens review, but, like, you know, there's the Chrome Trooper, there's
there's the new Republic flag.
Yeah,
there's, you know what I mean. There's all the new TIE fighters, and there's just, but
the
there's so
three
much
new
that,
characters.
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
introduced,
And
the leads.
there's so much that you can show off in that without showing anything.
Right.
Where Batman v Superman doesn't have that.
Right. You can't show Cyborg this early.
Yeah, you can't show Momoa as Aquaman too much because we've already seen a photograph of him. So, like, what if he's only in one scene? You're not going to show that one scene. You know what I mean? How much is Gal Gadot actually in as Wonder Woman? Is she in a third of the movie?
Is there a secondary villain? You know, is it just Luthor, or are we going to end up seeing Metallo, or are we going to end up seeing a Batman villain?
Or, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to blow your load too early.
Oh my God, absolutely. You don't want to give all that stuff away, you know. So they have a lot harder of a bar to live up to at the same time because there's so much hidden material that we don't know about the story that you really want to try and give away as little as possible while making people as excited as possible. And so it's a very fine line, and I think that after the trailer that we got to see today, they really walked that line very well.
It definitely was a heck of an event, guys, and I was really happy to be able to cherish it with and just watch it with good friends of mine who are just as big geeks and dorks and nerds as I am about this kind of stuff.
Yay.
Yay. Well, not too much Derek. He's a bit of a ladies' man, and sitting in his car right now, I can kind of see he's a bit of a ladies' man.
There you go.
That's true.
I think this is an earring.
I think there's a bra back here.
But all around, it was a hell of a moment. We were able to witness it all together, and we were able to really just enjoy it and really just bathe in it afterwards and just talk about it so much. Bathe in Superman and everything, and Batman, and just all that stuff was really... You actually have a woman's bra in here. Jesus.
He just uses this as a prop. I'm
I think so, pretty sure. I just found it on the street somewhere.
Oh, God. Jesus, the souvenir. So, anyways, it was definitely a fun event for anybody. I don't even know how to continue from this.
I think really that's it.
I think that's it, guys. We all got, and I'm really happy Derek and Jason, definitely happy to have met Jason for the first time. Really awesome meeting you, dude, and having you a part of this.
Can we give our Twitters and stuff?
Yes, of course. I'm RomeroMovieNews. You guys can subscribe to me here on my channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, and if you want to stalk me, follow me on Instagram, where I post all different kinds of stuff, especially movie news related. And of course, Derek, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself?
You can find me on IMDb under Derek Easley. I'm a writer, director, producer. Got to work with Stan Lee recently for my new project coming up called Trek Isolation. Really excited to be doing that. And you can follow me at Twitter at Fortress of Derek, and also find me on Facebook, Derek Easley. So that's me.
And I'm Jason Ryan Lovett. You can find me on IMDb as well under that name, and you can find me on Twitter at Jason Ryan Lovett, and you can find me on Instagram at Lovett all the time.
I love it.
Oh, that's perfect. I wish I could have thought of something like that.
That's right.
Oh, boy. Anyways, guys, as always, I'm Romero for RMN, and I've got your back, so you're on track. See you guys next time.